Cedar Walton was about my third musical hero. First was Thelonious Monk, then McCoy Tyner, and then I heard a Cedar Walton track which was being played on the radio station KJAZ, where I was growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area in the 1970s, called Bolivia, the classic Bolivia track from the album Eastern Rebellion. And I had to go out and get that record right away. It was the hippest, classiest thing I'd ever heard. And as with Monk and McCoy, it just hit me so deeply. I want to do that. So I used to go hear Cedar Walton at the Keystone Corner in San Francisco. And I would just watch him and just dream of being that classy, you know, being able to do it like that. And he's always been one of the voices of this music who I wish to learn from. And the way I see my being in music and in jazz is that I'm just in life for a short time. I want to be authentic. I want to reflect the genuine influences of real jazz, bring some happiness while I'm here, and hopefully pass the music on to some young folks, some young players, and also younger listeners, because we know it's a challenge for young people to even be exposed to this music right now. So Cedar Walton is just very central in me being a musician at all. When Cedar passed, and we were all in such shock, I got a telephone call shortly thereafter to come and play with his band on the cruise. Immediately I realized it was the deepest honor and I absolutely wanted to be here, no question about it. I then realized that the clear challenge would be to be true to Cedar and true to myself, not either or, but both. And so this experience, being here on the cruise, playing Cedar Walton's music with Cedar Walton's band for people like myself who've been enjoying and savoring Cedar's music for decades, is an amazing experience. It's a life changer for me. And so this is a very special kind of thing that only happens here on the Jazz Cruise. In beginning my preparation for playing Cedar Walton's music with Cedar Walton's band, I went through my collection. I have just about anything available by Cedar Walton, at least as a leader, certainly. And I just went through and created an alphabetical list of all his originals that were played more than once, which would give me a clue that they were actually in his book, not just for a particular record date. And ones I've been enjoying hearing him play over the years. And I emailed this long list to David Williams, the great bassist, who's been playing with Cedar for over 35 years. Is really core to the sound of Cedar's music and his bands over the years. I emailed David and said, can you help me just separate a little wheat from chaff? Could you maybe help me eliminate some tunes from this list so I can begin really focusing on my work, my preparation, learning this music and absorbing the feeling of it. So he mentioned about 6 or 8 tunes I could take off this long list. And I started working, and that's where the fun really began, because there's all sorts of little hidden treats in Cedar's tunes for the musician when you learn them, and it's infectious, so it didn't feel like work. Nourishment, I wanted more and more every day. And David has been so encouraging and supporting on and off the bandstand of my being here. I'm knowing all the while I am not the man himself, and yet, as we all know, I'm not here to be him. I'm here to do my best to honor him. Willie Jones III, the great, one of the swingest drummers on the planet, has been playing with Cedar for some years now. So the Cedar Walton trio has been David Williams and Willie Jones III with Cedar. And Willie is someone whose services I have called upon at times over the years, because I can always count on him to make the music feel good and just have my back. And it's such a joy for me to look up at David and Willie's faces while we're playing and see that they're actually engaged and they're having fun. They're not just here doing me a favor in my good intentions to honor Cedar. They're into it. And I'm playing with someone this week who I've never played with before, an alto saxophonist from Russia originally, lives in New York now, named Dmitri Baevsky. And Cedar had hired Dmitri to be here on the jazz cruise, intending him to play with the band. So when I was requested to come here and sit in the master's chair, and they asked who I wanted to play with, I said I want to play with Cedar's band, whoever was supposed to be playing with Cedar. Yes. So Dmitri and I have had more ongoing communication through email because we're the two new guys. Dave and Willie are the core of Cedar's band. So Dmitri and I have just compared notes through emails as we're learning the tunes, but it's really in keeping with the eternal spirit of jazz that we get together and there's so much improvisation involved. It's not all about the preparation, it's also about just spontaneously realizing the situation, hearing each other, tuning in, and it's the best. Jazz is the best, and the sound and feeling of Cedar's music is central to jazz. I'm so grateful for records because now Cedar's passed on, but when we put on Cedar's records, he's alive. The feelings go into us. It's invigorating, it's inspiring. So I'm so grateful for what Cedar Walton has given us. Hi, I'm Benny Green. For more jazz interviews and videos, please go to jazztimes.com.